Hello everybody, it is Tamara here, Dr. Tamara Hunter coming to you. It is Tuesday and it is the 7th of April, and as I have reflected to everybody previously, I am going to be doing a live feed into my Facebook page every weekday right throughout April to stay connected, get connected with you guys around women's health, reproductive health, fertility, men's health, and we can share some information for you in this really challenging time that we're going through in the world. So today I want to talk to you about 5 things that I think that you can actually be doing right now to assess or check up on or even manage your subfertility. And I prefer to use the term subfertility because infertility is just so finite. It's just so ending. So let's call it subfertility. It just kind of suggests that there is an opportunity for you to achieve fertility, which is ultimately what we're all on about. So let's just look at the definition first of infertility or subfertility. So for a woman, and we go by the woman's age because the woman's age really matters as far as fertility goes. And I'm going to be talking about that a little bit tomorrow when I'm talking about elective oocyte cryopreservation. I'm going to be talking about why the woman's age really matters. But for a woman under the age of 35 in a couple, the couple needs to have been trying for 12 months consecutively to conceive for it then to be termed subfertility. And for a woman over the age of 35, it's really reasonable for us to be instituting some tests and examinations once a couple has been trying to conceive for just 6 months because age matters. So they're the definitions, and they're typically the reasons that someone is coming to see me for subfertility. It's taken them 12 months and they're not conceived, or it's taken them 6 months and they're over the age of 35. So we would expect around 85% of couples to have achieved conception by 12 months of trying, and in the next 6 months, that remaining 15%, about half of them should have conceived, sort of about an additional 7%. So it's feasible that sort of somewhere between 90 and 95% of couples should have conceived by 18 months of trying. So beyond that, we really start to think, this isn't just chance here. So this is a difficult time right now. Many of the fertility centres are on maintenance. They might not be actually practicing at all. And so it can get a little bit worrying. Well, what do I do in this time? How can I ensure that my fertility is okay? So there are some actions that you can take and some things that you can actually do to assess and manage your fertility in this period of time. I'm going to share 5 things with you. So the first thing I want to share is lifestyle. You know, if you know me at all, you know that lifestyle is number 1 in managing reproductive health and women's health for me. So within lifestyle, there's a number of things, and the top of the list there is, we know that if a woman has a BMI that is over 30, so your BMI is your weight divided by your height in meters squared. Okay, so you can do the calculation on that. So if the number that you calculate, your weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters, so for me it's 1.65 meters or 165 centimeters, 1.65 times 1.65. So if your BMI is over 30, you are considered to be in the obese range. Over 35, it's higher. 25 to 30 is considered to be overweight. So where your ideal BMI is between 20 and 25. Now, we do know that as a woman's weight goes up, it does impact on her fertility and her miscarriage rates. But here's the really amazing thing, that if you are considered to be overweight, even obese, then a reduction of just 10% of your body weight is going to double your chances of conception, whether it's spontaneous or with assisted reproduction, and halve your miscarriage rates. So if you've worked out your BMI and it's getting up there, it's maybe above 30, it might be a really good opportunity over this time to reduce your body weight by about 10%. So if your body weight's 90 kilos, you just need to be focusing on that 9 kilogram weight loss. And that's a combination of diet and exercise. Now, if you're really struggling with lifestyle, I'd encourage you to go and see a dietitian, see an exercise physiologist, or even touch base with your GP about some assistance there. So what are the things in diet that you could be doing? Well, you really want to be making sure that you're consuming whole foods. So at the top of the list, fruits and vegetables, all those vitamins, minerals, antioxidants are key for general health and well-being. Getting your oils from an unsaturated source of oils and fats, making sure you're having a low amount of processed foods and a low amount of those white bread, white rice, white flour, white sugar. As far as supplements go, the key supplement you need to be taking continuously, I know it gets boring, but folic acid is really key. So you need to be having your folic acid supplement. Aside from that, there aren't a lot of other necessary supplements. If you've got a good diet, there aren't a lot of necessary isolated nutrients that you need, unless perhaps you're vitamin D deficient or iron deficient, and you can look into that through blood tests. Hey, JD. I also recommend omegas. I think omega oils are really underrated, and there is some evidence to show how they are related in reproductive health. And exercise. Well, this is a whole nother topic, and we might save this for later on in the month, but exercise is really important. But think about the intensity of it. No more than 3 to 4 sessions a week maximum. Gentle walks, a gentle amount of huff and puff. You certainly don't need to be crossfitting every day because that can have an adverse effect as well. So balancing that energy in versus energy out, watching your weight, watching the key dietary and supplement intake. Okay, so that's the lifestyle side of things. So if you think there's something there that you need to work on, you've got a great opportunity to do that right now. Number two is checking that you actually ovulate. Just because you have a regular period every month does not necessarily mean that you ovulate every month. So checking ovulation is key. You can actually buy an LH testing kit, luteinizing hormone testing kit. It's called an ovulation testing kit from the pharmacy. So go and speak to your pharmacist about getting an LH testing kit. The instructions are really easy on the side of the pack. And basically it shows you when you surge before ovulation in the middle of the month. So if it's showing some unusual results, you can always check in with your GP and get a blood test that's called a mid-luteal progesterone level. And if you've ovulated, you should see a rise in your progesterone level. So for some women who have a regular cycle, that's at around about day 21, but just a mid-luteal progesterone. So check that you're actually ovulating. Don't assume because your period is regular that you are. Number 3 thing that you can go ahead and do is a pelvic ultrasound. So your GP can organise a simple pelvic ultrasound to be done, looking at the uterus, looking at the ovaries, looking at how many eggs you've got there, maybe you've got some polyps or fibroids. Those sorts of things can impact on fertility as well. Maybe even the shape of the uterus could be a little different, be a little unique, and that can impact on the ability to conceive. So a pelvic ultrasound is something that is really simple that you can organise. Number 4 thing is key on my list that you can actually do is a tubal patency test. So what this is where they pass either dye using an X-ray machine, they pass dye through the tubes and they take an X-ray through your pelvis to look and see if the dye passes through the tubes. Or if you go to a ultrasound clinic, they'll actually pass some fluid, it's kind of like agitated saline, through the tubes, and they're actually watching it with the ultrasound machine to pass through the tubes. That's called an hycosi. Don't ask me to spell that. Hycosi. And both of those can assess the tubal patency. Now, you can only do that in the first half of your cycle. So please talk to your GP about organising a tubal patency test, because obviously if you've got blocked tubes, it's going to make it really hard to conceive spontaneously. And the number 5 thing that you can get on and do is arrange for your partner, if you've got a male partner, to get a semen analysis. 15% of subfertility is associated with male factor infertility. So don't just assume that it's the woman all of the time. It's important that a man has his count assessed, his morphology, how they look under the microscope, and how they move, the motility. They're the 3 basic tests that a generalized lab can actually look at. So there's 5 things that you guys can be doing to check your fertility. Check your lifestyle, your weight, your diet, your exercise. Check that you're ovulating. Check that the uterus and pelvic organs looks normal. Check that the tubes are open, and check the semen analysis. 5 simple things. If any of those are abnormal, obviously you'll then need to sit down and have a chat with someone. But they're the simple things that you can do. And obviously within the lifestyle stuff, I forgot to mention, alcohol, smoking, those sorts of things, really bringing it back to as clean living as you possibly can. And remember, it's not just about the woman, it's about what the bloke does as well. So hopefully that's really helpful to you. Chloe's asked a question. I've heard wheatgrass is a good one to take as a supplement. There's no evidence, Chloe, that wheatgrass is any better for fertility than any other green leafy vegetable. So by all means, if you put it in your smoothie or you have a shot of it first thing in the morning and it's got a lot of antioxidants in it, it just adds to the armory that you're getting from your general fruits and vegetable consumption. But as far as improving fertility, I don't think it's going to make any significant difference to your outcomes. So have a beautiful rest of your week. Now tomorrow we're going to be talking about elective oocyte cryopreservation, or in the media it's called social egg freezing, rightly or wrongly. And then on Thursday I'm going to have my very special friend Louise Buck, psychologist, and we're going to be sitting down once I work out how to use dual live feed, and we're going to be talking about stress, anxiety and control, which is something we're all struggling with right now in the current world environment. Have a beautiful night, everybody, and I'll speak to you soon.